Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the most scathingly difficult areas in gaming that will have you breaking controllers by the bucket load. Number 50. The Proving Grounds, BioShock.
I really wound you up with that wife and child bit. Oh, me poor Moira. Wee baby Patrick.
On paper, the idea of becoming a big daddy and bringing the pain to the splicers sounds like a great way to see out the final act of our bloody journey through Rapture. Or at least it would be if it wasn't so cumbersome. Turns out we wouldn't get the authentic Big Daddy experience until BioShock 2, on account that the Proving Grounds from the original game only amounted to the worst kind of escort mission. Keeping a little sister alive while dealing with a torrent of enemies is bad enough, but having to navigate the whole thing with your vision permanently fishbowled is just salt in the wound.
There! You must use the needle of the little sister to drain Fontaine of his Adam. It is the only way to defeat him.
Number 49. The Hospital, Resident Evil 3.
Tyrell, where's Bard now?
Gotta be the lab in the back. Stay frosty, I'm on my way.
Copy. I'll go on ahead.
Having to deal with Nemesis is trouble enough, but the real terror in both the original and remake can be found within the walls of Raccoon City's local hospital. Despite being a resilient soldier with flawless hair, there's little hope of Carlos getting through this level unscathed. If anything, you should expect to encounter more than a few game overs, since you won't just be dealing with the regular infected but also the hunters. These reptilian monstrosities soak up damage like a sponge, and with very little ammo around, having to deal with swarms of them at a time will make you long for the days of bobbing and weaving past Mr. X.
You're gonna be okay, Joe.
Number 48. Nightmares, Max Payne.
The nightmare was always the same. Violent shapes moving in darkness, old and ugly. The killer's mad laughter was a riddle filled with wicked innuendo.
It wouldn't be a neo-noir without some serious trauma, and few video game characters have suffered as much as this hard-boiled detective. In between gunning for revenge, Max will find himself trapped in a set of mazes formed from his own troubled psyche, wherein the only escape involves following a trail of blood with the screams of his murdered family bellowing in the background. The only issue, aside from the attack on your eardrums, is that the blood trail isn't linear, and taking a wrong turn can send you spiraling into the dark with no clue how to get back to where you started. You might want to spend some of that bullet time in therapy, Max. Number 47. Meat Circus, Psychonauts.
Nobody's supposed to know about it. You didn't tell my dad about it, did you?
While re-releases smoothed over some of this final level's problems, at launch, the difficulty spike found in this psychedelic hellscape of steak and murder was gnarly. We're all for fighting through a fusion of consciousness to save the manifestation of a character's innocence. It's just that we weren't prepared for the absurd demand for precise platforming, time constraints, and an abundance of enemies blasting you from off-screen. At best a slog, and at worst a brutally difficult circus act that many were unable to complete back in the day.
That was the best summer of my whole entire life.
Number 46. Kratz Zoo, Lies of P.
Hey, wakey wakey. Oh, come on, pal, get up.
Well, that's certainly one way to kick off a DLC. After being sent back in time, Geppetto's puppet finds himself as a guest of the most dangerous zoo in the world, on account that much of the animal inhabitants had been experimented on and turned into mutated monsters, driven only to kill. And damn if they don't put you through your paces. Just when you think you've encountered the most heinous beasts of the bunch, another comes along to take its place. Between the bloodstained kangaroos, unholy chimera, and super crocodile, you'll never look at zoos the same way again.
The size of that thing! Is that how big they normally get?
Number 45. Renoir's Drafts, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. The canvas may be a beautiful and enrapturing reality where life can be conjured from painting, but these early sketches are beyond the pale of challenging. As an optional dungeon filled with some of the toughest Nevrons in the game, cutting your way through the onslaught is a monumental task that will push you into being a parry god or swear off side content forever. Should you make it to the end, you'll be met by two of the hardest bosses in the game, the Chromatic Creation and Simon. You don't know suffering until you've danced with those two. Number 44. Laser Hell, Split Fiction. Hidden between all the captivating co-op content, there's a secret level waiting for those brave enough to tackle it. After putting in the correct sequence, which in and of itself requires a bit of brain flexing, you'll find that resident mad lad Joseph Ferris has set up one final challenge, a laser room, one that will have you platforming like your life depends on it. Only here, the challenge is doubled on account that both you and your fellow player have to make it through the gauntlet in sync. They knew they had created a monster with this level. Why else would they have Ferris himself waiting at the end with a congratulatory message?
Wow, amazing. You have to understand this challenge, there are barely people in our team that can make it.
Number 43, Cultist Base, Doom Eternal.
While it is clear that the Slayer is an enemy of the challenge, it is unclear if he could also be a threat to civilians.
With a revamped combat system and difficulty spikes so immense it would make even the hardiest of Slayers shiver, Eternal far eclipsed its predecessor in terms of demanding gameplay. And there's no better example of that than the Cultist Base. Utterly infested with demons, you'll barely be able to take a step before some of Hell's worst leap into the fray, looking for a fresh kill. An utter mastering of the game's weapons and platforming is required if you're even entertaining the thought of facing this level on higher difficulties. Number 42, Magic Domain, Silver Surfer. Serving as the Herald of Galactus outright sucks, especially if this is the nonsense involved. The final level of this infamous NES classic, players must traverse their interstellar speedway as carefully as possible on account that touching any part of the environment spells your instant demise. Which is far easier said than done when enemies come flying at you from all angles. Try to avoid them, you'll end up crashing into some space rock and it's game over. Take too long to dodge, they'll kick you off your board and it's game over. The only way you're making your way through this level unharmed is with a serious amount of trial and error. Number 41, Derelict Citadel, Returnal. While one could argue every biome across this most brutal of bullet hells is as dangerous as the last, meandering through the Citadel was a particular nightmare. Navigating the environment with the grappling hook for the first time adds new complexities to traversal, not helped by how labyrinthine the area is. Then you've got the likes of Nemesis waiting for you at the end. If his barrage of projectiles don't shred away your health, then the ever-shifting and limited footholds certainly will.
Astra received my signal. Then... that's it.
Number 40, Cortana, Halo 3.
Chief, I'll round up our survivors, fall back to the dawn. Arbiter will do the same with the elites.
We do anything to save our beloved holographic babe from the clutches of the Flood. Except play this level again. Whether you're strutting it solo or teaming up with a pal in co-op, navigating the Flood's nest is a true test in Spartan patience. When you're not trying to get a grip of the lay of the land, you're being encroached on all sides by resurrected corpses. The abundance of infested corridors and tricky terrain make it all too easy to lose your footing and put you right in the line of fire. If you hated the Flood before, this level will make you loathe them.
Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
Number 39, The Great Maze, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Introducing a pseudo-story mode to Smash Bros. Would have been a slam dunk. And for the majority of the Subspace Emissary, it kind of is. Solid Snake and Lucario teaming up to take on minions of the Master Hand? This was every Nintendo fan's fantasy come true. At least until the final stage, the Great Maze. And what a slog it was. Navigating this blasted thing is maddening, which isn't good when your objective isn't so much to reach the end, as it is to open every door, fight evil clones of the entire roster of characters as well as all previous bosses. Thanks to its terrible layout, this can take forever, severely dampening any hype you may have had to fight Taboo by the level's end. Number 38, Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. While it could be argued that this is more a boss fight than level, there's no way we couldn't include slugging it out with Iron Mike in the ring. Whatever tips and tricks you've accrued from beating your way past the likes of the game's other fighters won't count for much here, because Tyson is a beast with a capital B. His punches are rapid, his uppercuts will decimate your health, and one mistimed move is a knockout waiting to happen. You have to memorize his entire moveset, including his feints, while resisting the urge to get greedy with your punches, and even then there's no guarantee Kid Dynamite won't come out of left field and sock you across the jaw. Number 37, Aztec, GoldenEye 007. Should you take a moment away from playing this game's legendary multiplayer to best its campaign, there's a bonus level waiting at the end for only the most daring of 00 agents. A walk in the park, this is not. Enemies are faster, far more accurate, and also come equipped with the hardest hitting weapons. It's the game's way of telling you that you don't have the right to call yourself Bond unless you have the skill to take out the likes of Jaws armed with a Moonraker laser. By the end of your Aztec adventure, you'll be left both shaken and stirred. Number 36. Elphael, Brace of the Halleck Tree, Elden Ring. Just unlocking this place is a rigorous test in Soulsborne logic in and of itself, but even if you completely disregard how tricky finding Elphael is, this floral paradise is one of the most dangerous spaces in the entirety of the lands between. Barreling across the ever-thinning branches is a recipe for plunging to your death, while the various inner sanctums play host to some of the most demanding creatures and mini-bosses you can find. And of course, waiting for you at the depths is none other than Malenia, the hardest boss in the game, and depending on who you ask, the hardest boss in all of gaming, full stop.
You will witness true horror.
Number 35. King Dice, Cuphead. The right-hand man of the devil himself, King Dice was always going to be a demanding boss fight, without a doubt. We just didn't expect that the entire encounter would consist of a boss rush roulette. Staying on brand, depending where the dice falls, you'll progress across the stage and land on one of 9 mini-bosses, all of which are tough as nails at the best of times. Fail, and you've got to start from scratch before eventually making your way to the Dice Man himself, who is no slouch, especially for those who haven't mastered the parry mechanic yet. Gambling really can ruin your life. Number 34. Water Slums, Jak 2.
That is it! Piece of seal, yes? Nice and shiny, huh? All yours! Uh-oh! I think Red Trooper's approaching!
If the shift from collectathon to unrelenting third-person shooter wasn't enough tonal whiplash for you, the escape from the water slums will cement this sequel for you as a different kind of animal. Jak 2 was already infamous for crazy gaps between checkpoints, and the most egregious example can be found here. If you try to fight the incoming Crimson Guards, the chances are they're going to wipe you out before Daxter has a chance to get a quip out, which makes running for the exit the most viable option. But even then, you're going to have to deal with getting bombarded by sniper fire. Get hit, and you're going in the drink. Number 33. Demolition Man, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City.
Now look here, son. I got a problem, and I reckon you could help me with it.
I'm no builder.
No, I was thinking more of your demolition skills.
We're all for a bit of wanton destruction in our GTA games, but the demands of this particular mission had us questioning whether the career criminal life was worth it. Using an RC helicopter, which is far from the easiest thing to control, you must place 4 bombs at varying levels of a construction site. If that was the only condition, it would be a cakewalk. The trouble starts when you're only given 7 minutes to place all 4 bombs correctly, which is further hampered by the construction workers busting out their AKs and trying to fill your toy copter full of lead. We wanted nothing more than to see the whole thing go up in flames by the time the mission was done. Number 32. Fishing Hamlet, Bloodborne. Every gamer knows by now that any and all From Software DLC are going to be absurdly difficult, and the Fishing Hamlet is no exception. In fact, the Fishing Hamlet is where your dreams of being a decent Souls player go to die. Obviously, there's the Orphan of Kos waiting for you at the end, by and large the most challenging boss you're ever likely to face during your time as a hunter. But even before getting pistol whipped by that abomination, you have to make your way through a ruined village in the clutches of the shark giants. These things are horrifying, not to mention excessively hard to kill. Their presence alone makes the Fishing Hamlet one of sheer dread. Number 31. The Rings, Superman 64. That's right, the first level, because let's be honest, no one of sound mind played the game beyond its opening stage since it introduced us to those accursed rings. The flying mechanics in this game are so broken, they've carved out a place for themselves in the annals of gaming. So to task us with rushing through a set of rings with barely any room to maneuver just feels cruel. Janky, unresponsive, and a chore to get through, the fact this might be the Man of Steel's most iconic game to date is so diabolical, we have to wonder if Lex Luthor had a hand in its development. Number 30, wrong side of the tracks. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Hey, Carl. Keeping busy, I hope.
You know me, Officer Tenpenny.
Chasing after a group of gang members sounds like an easy feat until you actually start to play through this notorious mission. Wrong Side of the Tracks from San Andreas follows CJ and Big Smoke chasing down members of the Vagos gang as they ride on top of a train. Catch? You have to drive a dirt bike while Big Smoke shoots at them. The aim of Smoke's AI isn't nearly as good as yours would be, and balancing the distance so he actually stands a chance can be pretty annoying with cars and other trains getting in your way. This one definitely saw its fair share of failures back in the day.
Hey, let's get out of here before the cops show, man.
Number 29, Can't Wait to Be King, The Lion King. Back when you could rent games from stores, some companies specifically made games harder so that players would spend more time on them, and therefore, more on rental fees. Disney did this for the second level of its Lion King adaptation, which has made it infamous. As Simba platforms through various animal pals, the bright colors and recreation of the movie's music may seem jolly, but it certainly isn't. The ostrich riding section is frustrating due to obstacles that come quickly, but the section Disney altered saw the young cub tossed back and forth by a group of monkeys. Roaring changes the throw direction of the pink ones, but most of them are still hidden off screen, resulting in an infuriating loop. Number 28, Path of Hades, God of War. If you like falling over and over again, then do we have a level for you? After being sent to the underworld in the first God of War, Kratos is forced to navigate the Path of Hades. This level mostly consists of minuscule platforms and spinning cylinders with way too many blades sticking out of them. Jumping between all of this is made even more difficult by packs of enemies either waiting to knock you into the abyss or shooting you full of arrows. The worst part comes towards the end, a long climb up a rotating cylinder with an army's worth of swords sticking out. Just one mistake and you fall all the way back down to the bottom. Number 27, Perilous Passage, Donkey Kong Country Returns. When Donkey Kong Country returned on the Wii, it brought new levels of irritation. While those rocket barrel levels are a gigantic pain, Perilous Passage just beats them out in the impressive amount of death it brought players. It forces you to climb upwards at a swift pace to avoid lava rising from below. As you do so, there are several annoyingly placed enemies waiting to trip you up, and falling platforms you're meant to use, some of which can easily crush you. It's a surefire recipe for rage, especially if you're also trying to collect all the puzzle pieces. If you make no mistakes, this level is pretty short, but you'll suffer a lot of losses before you make it out. Number 26, Angel Slayer, Bayonetta. Bayonetta and its sequels feature more than a few tough combat challenges, but by far the hardest of the bunch is the lost chapter, Angel Slayer, from the original. It's a test of your stamina to keep going, as there are a total of 51 fights to make it through. While the first 10 are set to normal difficulty, the next 20 are set to hard, while the final 21 are set to non-stop climax, the highest difficulty in the game. There are naturally a lot of intimidating enemies throughout. However, the second to last fight against 3 versions of Jeanne and the final bout against Bayonetta herself are clearly the ones that enraged players the most. Number 25, Blighttown, Dark Souls. When it comes to high difficulty, From Software's bosses get the most frequent mentions, but there are definitely some levels that rightfully earn the ire of the studio's fanbase. Blighttown from the first Dark Souls is such a level, especially in the game's original version where its poor framerate just intensified the difficulty. While the upper area consists of moving bridges, making it easy to get lost, the lower area is full of enemies that can easily poison you, making for multiple agonizing deaths. Your reward for making it through is to enter Quelaag's domain, where the powerful witch will make you question coming this way. Blighttown has a reputation among the player base as a grueling challenge, and not the fun kind. Number 24. The Guy, Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is the type of game that gets you very comfortable with seeing your character die over and over. Among the many maddening stages it has to offer, the 3-part hidden area, The Guy, is sure to test your reflexes the most. Filled with more spikes than you can count, there's no way to get through it without your character getting turned to mush so many times you'll hear that splat sound effect in your dreams. Each of the 3 parts is undeniably hard, requiring pixel-perfect movement. But the 3rd section is truly something else, featuring lightning-fast spike walls that'll make you want to scream. Number 23. Champions Road, Super Mario 3D World. This is the final level in the game, and you can be sure to expect a few more final level entries in this list as well. The Mario franchise continues to evolve and revolutionize the platformer genre with every entry, and for that, we're grateful. What we aren't grateful for, however, is this level from the 2013 release Super Mario 3D World. There are vanishing blocks, enemies that require ultra-quick reflexes to dodge, and every type of platform you can think of to traverse. One small misstep and you're a goner. But hey, at least there's a nice message at the end. Number 22. The Impossible Lair, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. When the level has the word impossible in the name, you know you're in for trouble. While this particular level isn't literally impossible, it's close to it, and has been known to take even experienced gamers upwards of 50 tries to complete. That is, if you don't give up first. You're going to need all 48 Bs to make it through alive, and that's saying something when most games give you no more than 10 chances to get hit. Each section of the level is a test of timing and reflexes, with every movement requiring the utmost concentration. Number 21. Death Mountain, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. While we don't mind this 2D side-scrolling iteration of this influential franchise, we still prefer its top-down and 3D entries. That being said, you can't deny that this entry had charm, or, in the case of this level, a relentless difficulty that earns it a place of distinction in the series. You can't just mash the attack button in Death Mountain. Enemies have certain weaknesses that can be tough to discover, requiring you to study them before you make a move. That said, if you can get past the red axe throwing baddies, then you should be able to make it to the end. Number 20. Tubular, Super Mario World. The level that made fans hate the P-Balloon. As it may take hours of attempts to beat, but with a runtime of about a minute, you can expect to hear that annoying, albeit catchy death tune pretty often. Not only does controlling the P-Balloon feel like dragging a heavy rock on an icy pond, but a single hit will make you fall to your death, even if you have a power-up. If the plants don't get you, the baseball-throwing menaces will. Add to that the pressure of making sure you get to the next P-Balloon power-up before the time runs out and you fall to your death, and you're gaming under seriously stressful conditions. Number 19. Welcome to the Machine, Echo the Dolphin. This game gave me nightmares as a kid. Like something about the sea and what lies beneath it. Oh my god. Anyways, most retro games have at least a couple of annoying sound effects, but mashing the sonar button over and over again, which is unfortunately required to have a chance at beating this level, will have you playing on mute. This narrow corridor auto-scrolling level, combined with the speed at which the enemies fly into you, gives you barely any time to react. Couple that with the camera's unpredictable path, and your sanity will steadily erode with every attempt. Aliens weren't something we were expecting when we started this game. Number 18. Water Temple, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. If you thought being inside a whale's stomach was bad, wait until you become an adult and do the temple equivalent of Ocarina of Time's water dungeon. The constant resetting of water levels makes it annoying. The maze of whirlpools makes it frustrating, its non-linearity makes it confusing, and the battle with Dark Link makes it painful. But hey, it does make for a damn good battle. Keys are also spaced out around the level, which can also mean lengthy backtracking if you don't have enough to get through doors at the end of long corridors. The Water Temple is an exhausting experience to say the least, but it's a rewarding one. Number 17. Parking Garage Tutorial, Driver. When the tutorial is harder than the actual gameplay experience, you can be sure that many gamers never played long enough to find that out for themselves. You have to prove you're the driver for the job, and with that comes a list of driving tasks you need to accomplish, all with a strict time limit and only a handful of chances to mess things up. Oh, and if you think you've done a track multiple times and still aren't getting the checkmark for some strange reason, well, that's just part of the level's charm. Number 16. Path of Pain, Hollow Knight. The Metroidvania genre has a reputation for being tough, but Hollow Knight is the one you turn to when you think the others are too easy. One section that's sure to send you into a blind fury is the Path of Pain, a section added as part of the Grim Troop DLC. Staying true to many challenging platforming sections that came before it, the path is littered with hazards, spinning blades, enemies, and prickly vines that cover most walls and floors. With only a few spots to catch your breath, you must wall jump when it's safe or bounce off enemies and hazards with your weapon when it isn't. They don't call it the Path of Pain for nothing. Number 15. Mile High Club on Veteran, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
X-ray down. Move.
Given the title of this level and its corresponding achievement, we weren't quite sure what to expect and whether or not this belonged in a Call of Duty game. Rest assured, not only does it belong, but it will test a COD player like few other missions can. It's a short-form linear level through a plane that is absolutely hell to complete on the hardest difficulty, and probably resulted in a lot of broken controllers and cracked TV screens. Running through the level in under a minute requires a memorized pattern of movements, and just one minor slip-up is all it takes to prompt you to immediately restart. Number 14. Slippery Climb, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. In this ominous 24th level, you'll need to climb the outside of Cortex's castle on a wet and stormy night. Moving platforms, acid-throwing lab assistants, and evil hands trying to swipe you from below are just a few of the challenges you'll face on your hair-raising ascent. There are stairs throughout the level that disappear, causing you to slide back down, making it a, you guessed it, slippery climb. While the entire course theoretically takes about 6 minutes to complete, we can guarantee that it'll take you much longer than that. Number 13. Flying Machine, Shovel Knight. Who would have thought a game about a knight and his shovel would be so endearing and challenging? In many games, a boss will be difficult and their corresponding level easy, or vice versa. But what we have here is a high difficulty package deal. These green hover minis are an absolute nuisance, especially when they're pushing you into cannonballs. Not to mention, the constantly changing air currents will mean that you have to be very precise with your movements. Then there's the actual boss. Propeller Knight moves incredibly fast, meaning you're going to have to time your jumps to a T. Of course, it doesn't help that the floor literally begins to crumble underneath you. Number 12. Through the Fire and Flames, Guitar Hero 3: Legends of Rock. Who knew fingers could move this fast? If you can complete this track on expert mode without getting booed off the stage within 30 seconds, then you're truly a legend of Guitar Hero. The constant onslaught of keys to hit does, mercifully, have a couple of small intermissions so you can catch your breath and shake your hand around. But the entire song is just so long that you're all but guaranteed to cramp up or lose feeling in your fingers before you hit that final note. Getting through the song is one thing, but getting 100% is nearly impossible. Number 11. Assault, Hotline Miami. You're going to die a lot playing Hotline Miami. Each level is a trial and error experiment as you attempt to figure out the exact pattern that's going to have you killing everyone in the level without falling victim yourself. But Chapter 13, titled Assault, is in a league of its own. It features tons of baddies with high-powered weapons that move just as fast as you do. In the context of a game where one person with a baseball bat can give you grief, that should give you pause. But at least the music is really good. That might not seem important now, but trust us, you're going to be hearing a lot of it. Number 10. Darker Side of the Moon, Super Mario Odyssey. Unlocked after you find 500 power moons, this level gives you a bit more Odyssey to experience, but it has to be earned. The level honestly feels like a chore. But chores can be fun, right? Practice makes perfect, but if you don't have time to practice, then you can skip multiple segments of the level. The caveat? Discovering the skips can become a challenge in itself. Hat throws, wall jumps, triple jumps, and impeccable timing are all required in unison here. This definitely gives Grandmaster Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2 a run for its money. At least you still get a health bar to deal with the swarm of enemies. Trust us, you're gonna need it. Number 9. Ringed City, Dark Souls 3. The Ringed City is the final DLC released for Dark Souls 3, and it's safe to say they left the hardest for last. In particular, we're talking about the pain and suffering that the Ringed City archers have brought so many players. Dozens of ghostly archers fire a barrage of arrows at you, disappearing, then reappearing behind you, even if you found cover behind the nearby tombstones. Nowhere is safe. Oh, and you've also got to face off with arguably one of the hardest bosses in the entire franchise, Dark Eater Midir. Dark Souls has always been known for its high level of difficulty, but the Ringed City is on another level. Number 8. Farewell, Celeste. Celeste's main game is notoriously tough but fair. The B-side and C-side stages were grueling, but Chapter 9, which was offered as free DLC, makes you feel like your spirit has been ripped out of you and there's no hope left. And as such, we can understand you not wanting to put in the effort to complete it. Combining complicated movesets is the only way to get through this DLC chapter, which, on top of everything else, is much longer than previous levels. So when you multiply the length by the overall high level of difficulty and add newly introduced technical mechanics, you get one epic and exhausting farewell. Number 7. The Perfect Run, Super Mario Galaxy 2. As another final level in a Mario game, the Grandmaster Galaxy delivers multiple demanding obstacles to test you. But then, you're asked to beat it again, this time with a single hit health bar and not a checkpoint in sight. The Perfect Run is a nightmare for everyone who experienced it. Even though it's a pristinely crafted level, it's hard to appreciate that when there are lasers of every form ripping their way towards you. Not to mention obnoxious projectile-based enemies making it nigh impossible to focus on the task at hand. And as we said, dying with one hit on a level with no checkpoints makes for a whole lot of do-overs. Number 6. Dr. Wily's Castle, Mega Man 9. In Mega Man 9, Dr. Wily's Castle introduced sadistic traps and gimmicks that the player hadn't encountered before, resulting in a certain unpreparedness that we had to overcome. Stage 3 onwards, you will find sections in which the platforms you have to jump to are barely large enough for Mega Man to land on. As if that's not enough, you encounter shield-bearing enemies that give you only a small window to attack. Otherwise, they bring their shield up and do what they do best, taunt you. And don't even get me started on the gravity well sections. Number 5. Water Dam, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Timed levels are the bane of every gamer's existence, but couple that with a punishing control scheme, and you've got a recipe for rage. In this notorious underwater level, energy beams appear in the weirdest spots with no notice, zapping your health away. There's one spot in particular that gives you a very narrow pathway to follow around a corner, and if you stray from it ever so slightly, then you're pretty much dead. Luckily, you have the option to switch turtles and get full HP, otherwise there'd be literally no chance at beating this one. Number 4. Tidal Wave, Geometry Dash. Even the toughest rhythm games bring immense satisfaction when you conquer a level, but good luck making it through this one. Geometry Dash allows users to create their own levels, which are verified before getting added in for the wider player base. Tidal Wave, which is classified under the game's accurately named Extreme Demon difficulty, was added in late 2023. Although the level theoretically only lasts for 3 minutes, players have suffered thousands of losses, making that playtime far longer. The speed at which the stage and its hazards move is honestly insane, and we have no idea how anyone is meant to react in time. In early 2024, it topped the player-created Demon list, ranking the 150 hardest levels in the game. We're not surprised. Number 3. C3, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Mario is back at it again with another entry on the list, and this time, he's taking us back to his retro days with the Lost Levels. In World C3, which is an updated version of 7.3, but now with Lakitus, you'll spend most of the time guiding Mario through the stage without ever looking at him. The reason? Because he's being launched into the freaking stratosphere by these unnaturally powerful springs scattered throughout the stage. You'll have to time it right so that when Mario begins his descent, he has a platform to land on. If you can manage that, you only have to do it a bunch more times to reach the end. Number 2. Stage 6-2, Ninja Gaiden. Imagine not blinking for 5 minutes straight. Now imagine not blinking for 5 minutes straight so you can concentrate on not being destroyed by a flying ninja. In this particularly punishing level of 1988's Ninja Gaiden, multiple enemies come at you at the same time. The entire stage is one seemingly endless onslaught of varying enemy types that come flying at you from the sky and both sides of the screen. And should you make it through to the end, Guess what? The subsequent levels are strong contenders for hardest levels in their own right. Heck, the entire game is a contender. And here we were thinking the 2005 version of the game was tough. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Turbo Tunnel, Battletoads. Oh, the hours we've lost to Turbo Tunnel. With its unfairly placed obstacles, little to no grace period between movements, and sheer speed of the ramps and walls coming at you, this level earns its infamous place in gaming history. Turbo Tunnel undoubtedly resulted in anxiety attacks for a lot of players. There is no room for error. Move or jump a millisecond too late, and you pay the price. The sequence isn't that long, but it feels like you're spending hours traveling simply by virtue of the number of obstacles you need to avoid. Why did we have to jump on this dumb bike anyway? There are plenty of other tough levels we had to leave off, so head to the comments and let us know which ones brought you the most frustration. And be sure to subscribe to our channel for more great videos every day.
Jill. Thank God you're okay. I've got good news. It's over now.